Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Chamber Show. We have another Chamber Funny as everybody's slowly starting to get in. I love seeing everybody today. Welcome to the show. Amber, Alex, I'm trying to find your name on the screen so I can give you host. Oh, there you are. Nope, you keep jumping. I see you, but I'm trying to find your name. Okay. Alex, me co-host. Okay, Alex, you got some controls too. Cool. What's up, everybody? Brian, nice to see your face. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be
Welcome
here.
to the Chamber Show. You're about to experience the shit show.
Okay, sounds great.
I don't think Chris warned you about the shit show.
No, he didn't.
We'll
I'm just
get
admiring
started.
the hairdo of the guy that's next to you. I mean, I don't know. That looks something spectacular. I don't know how long it took him to prepare that.
I don't even, you know what? My screen jumps around so much all over this place. I don't even know which one you're looking at.
This guy with the glasses, this hair, Macaron boot.
I don't even know. Why do I not see it on my screen? But listen, on my view, this shit jumps around like I can't even tell you.
Okay.
Oh, because it's not, I see the one you're looking at. Yeah. For whatever reason, it's not showing up on my screen yet, but I see him in the waiting room.
Okay.
But I guess apparently he's in. Patrick, what's up? Darren, what's up? Hey, Evelyn, welcome to Lunch and Learn today. We'll get started in another minute or so. Today's session, it might give people anxiety. I'm just giving you a heads up. We're going to be going over Google Ads grants for nonprofit organizations. It is complicated AF. So bear with us today. Alex put together like some of the most amazing notes that we've pulled from. We've got some real world examples that we'll go through. We show you some, two nonprofits that have had great results with it. And then we'll also be providing to you guys within the next week or two a guidebook on step-by-step because it is a gnarly process. I see a couple people still joining. While we're waiting for everyone to join, welcome to Chamber Nation. Amber, Alex, do we have any wins for this week? Oh my God, Alex, can you share with everyone how many grants you submitted probably within the last 24 to 48 hours?
I actually don't have that stat, but I should collect it. At least 15, probably.
I knew it was going to be something crazy.
Probably in the last week, yeah.
I knew it was going to be some number. I was going to say like 50, but I was exaggerating. Amber, any wins for you this week?
Yes, well, it was Monday, right? And it was a big day because we reworked a chart of accounts and it was very exciting and it gave us visibility and it simplified things and it ties in so nicely and easily to the 990. So it's exciting. And that's why you're calling all your financial clients now so we can do that same project because it was a game changer.
Oh, total game changer. If you guys haven't, go back and watch our Lunch and Learn on budgets and financial statements, and you'll get a really good idea of what Amber's talking about. She's talking about how finances feed into your tax filings and the finances show your impact and how it all works together. And so everything lines up to make it easy for reporting. Anybody else have any cool wins for the week? Milestones, accomplishments, anything they want to share? Come on, we need another win.
Well, working with Alex, I applied for the Smart and Final grant and I got $250. So that was my first grant for future wealthy minorities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a win, Tatiana. That's a win. Okay. All right. Y'all ready? This is going to be a shit show doozy of a day. So I'm just preparing you. So welcome today's Lunch and Learn. We're going to be going over Google Ad grants. There is an opportunity. It's been around forever, but it's been difficult to take advantage of. But Google for nonprofits has $10,000 in advertising funding for nonprofits for Google Ads. That is $10,000 every month. But I will say on average, the average nonprofit uses about $300. But if you have the ability to create the type of assets and the campaigns for it, you have up to $10,000 in Google ad grants to use. So you guys know, as usual, just put your questions in the chat or just, blurt out your question. This is always informal. I'm going to share my screen to start pulling up the slides for today. I'm going to be jumping back and forth a lot because there's a lot to show you guys, and I hopefully can get through it in the next 45 minutes. And we'll probably have to do a follow-up to this because this initial one is really just making sure you even have Google for nonprofits set up. So let me pull it up. If I can share my screen. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Just give me a couple of head nods. I can see a couple of people. Okay, awesome. So like I said, we're going to be learning how to leverage the $10,000 per month for impact of Google ad grants. So welcome to the show today. Shamber. I'm Dr. Sharon, the nonprofit plug. We've got Amber, the strategy specialist, and we also have Alex today. She is our director of capacity building and funding services, who is specializing in Google ad grants, as well as a couple of our other team members, because I don't know how many times I've said it, but it's a shit show. Okay, so what is Google ad grants? It's a program from Google that provides eligible nonprofits, and we'll go over that, with up to $10,000 in free monthly advertising. And I'm going to show you an example of what that exactly means so you can see when someone doesn't do advertising versus someone who does have advertising. So that's what Google ad grants. Usually when you see people put the ads up and you're Googling stuff on online and stuff comes up and it says sponsored, that's a Google ad. But we'll show you exactly what that looks like. So we're going to go through eligibility criteria, what it means to have a nonprofit status verification, and then ensuring your mission aligns with Google's guidelines. I'm jumping through a couple of these quick because the hefty data is as we get further through the PowerPoint. And then don't forget to just blurt out your questions if you have them. Likely, if you have a question, someone else for sure does have a question too. Okay, and Tatiana, I do see your question. So I'm going to address that actually in one of the slides because I was playing around with it this morning too, and I'll tell you what to do. Okay, so in order to be eligible for Google ad grants, you must be a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Everyone who is on here today, as long as you have your 501c3 status, and that means beyond the state that you're in, it needs to be your IRS 501c3 designation from the IRS. So you should have received a letter that says we have granted you and determined you eligible for as a tax exempt nonprofit organization. So we're going to go into this eligibility criteria and look at it. There are different criteria for different countries, but I think majority of you on here today are all US-based nonprofit organizations. So as long as you have your 501c3 status, meaning you have an EIN and you have your IRS letter of determination, you are eligible for Google ad grants. Okay, let me skip that one. So before we get into some of the nitty-gritty, here's why Google ad grants is important. Enhances your online visibility. You can reach a wider audience, boosting your website traffic. And we'll show you an example of a nonprofit where their clicks just crazy went through the roof. This is a great way to engage with potential donors and volunteers. Reach more donors online with your Google ad grants. This is how you attract donors, raise awareness, and recruit volunteers with your advertising on Google search. So for example, maybe one of your Google ads, if you have an event coming up, I would say if your event is 3 to 6 months out from the date, that's the ad that you would put up on Google. So that way you can get the best advertising and people clicking on that, and then they might be interested in that event and then they'll click through. So that's why that's critical. So you have access to $10,000 per month. Like I said, on average, you're probably looking at spending about $300 per month because it's not very expensive to do the Google ads, but they give you a significant amount because some of you guys have some really great creative assets, copy, video, all sorts of cool stuff that you can use for this. Okay, so utilizing your $10,000 per month effectively. So what do you need to do in order to use that? So this means you need to have defined campaign goals. That means that, like we've said before, in storytelling, in donor cultivation, anytime you're preparing for a grant, you guys need to understand what exactly are you asking for? Are you asking for money? Are you asking for awareness? Are you asking for in-kind donations? It's going to be critical for you to understand that component and what you're asking for. Okay, let me see if I have anything else that I wanted to add to that. Any questions so far before I dive through? We're just kind of, this is just general overview. We're going to go into the how-to here in a minute. Okay, so examples of like compelling stories. Help us feed our children at X school, specific. Help us provide clothing to formerly incarcerated veterans, specific. Help us house 10 veterans this month in housing. Those kind of things where you're specific and where it's compelling, those are the type of Google ads that will get you the most traction. Okay. This is how it works once you have the Google ads up and running. This isn't how you get the Google ads yet. This is what happens when you do have it up and running. So when you have a Google ad and you search for phrases, so like I was just saying, maybe you want to search for housing for veterans. So you'll get a mixed results of organic ads and paid ads. That's the difference between Google ads and not having Google ads. So organic search results pulls up like just, I love shit show, a shit show of stuff on Google. You know how there'd be like 25,000 things that you can click on. That's organic stuff that pops up. Having Google ads puts you up at the top of that list. So that's your loophole to getting around all that so that you can get more awareness to your organization. So paid advertising, your Google ad grants, it'll give you that little sponsored sign. Let me show you what that looks like. So see over here on the left side of the page, you Google something, and if it's sponsored, so if you have the Google ad grants, it's going to pop up first. So somebody Google searched for single parents, Los Angeles, nonprofits to help single parents. Alex, thank you for this. Then the ones that are Google ads used by Google ad grants, those are going to pop up first. That's what you're going to see here under this sponsored section. When you don't have that, they just show up under these random lists that are usually deep down. So you'll only show up at the top of the page if it's a good Google ad grant. If it's not Google ad grants, it's not sponsored, then it shows up below and deep down in all of the results. Any questions so far? Okay. I can't see everyone's faces, so if someone is raising their hand for a question, just interrupt me. Here's some of the do's and don'ts of Google ad grants. So when you're putting together your ad campaign, it's not meant to be everything about your whole entire nonprofit organization on there. Each ad is its own specific special topic. So I'm going to, because I see a couple of our veteran clients on here today. So for example, if you're doing a Google ad campaign for your veteran organization, you pick one program, maybe it's the housing program, and that's the one that you want to demonstrate for the ad to get people to click and to get people to donate. So you're not going to have everything, see that first don't on your Google ad account. Each ad is going to have its own specific focused area. So you don't want to upload tons of stuff that gets people confused. You want to keep it focused and simple. And you can definitely focus on quality over quantity. So Google ads are best for getting a smaller quantity of higher value visitors. So those are what we call good leads. Good quality leads is what your goal is for Google ad grants. So the more focused attention that you put into your Google ad, the better results that you'll get. And of course, there's no guarantees. So we'll go through. So basically, and this is like learning a whole new language. That's why I said today is going to be a shit show. So Google ads are all about clicks. There's a term called the CTR. It's the click-through rate. This is a big term in the advertising industry. So when you see an ad on Facebook, when you see an ad on Instagram, when you see an ad on Google, and you as the consumer click that, that's a click-through rate. And you click that and you go to their website or you purchase their product. That's the click-through rate. And so once you sign up for all of this, you'll actually get a Google Analytics account. And through there, you'll be able to monitor your click-through rate. It's really cool. Okay, and then of course, don't give up on Google Ads before you give it a proper try. I'm telling you now, though, it is complicated. So bear with the anxiety that you might have trying to implement Google Ad grants. There are lots and lots and lots of steps to it, and it can get kind of technical, but it is very doable. So we're here to support you guys on that process. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm fighting a head cold. Here's an example of a nonprofit that did Google Ads. So they ran a campaign to bring more awareness to their organization. This is Blue Ridge National Heritage Area. When they did their Google Ad grants highlights, check this out. So from one ad, they had 9,400 clicks, which then so we're reading this photo backwards. We're going to go from clicks to website visitors to what that means in funding. So not over 9,000 clicks from a Google ad grant. That means they did an ad on Google and they used funding from Google Ads from the grant. Over 9,000 people clicked on that. That meant and translated to 628,000 total website visitors. Could you imagine as a nonprofit getting that many visitors to your website? And then that translated to funding for the organization. So this is what this organization spent since 2013 in Google ad grants. But remember, that was free money. So this isn't money that they spent out of their pocket. They got grants because it's $10,000 per month and it's unlimited per year. So $120,000 in your first year that you can spend on Google ads. That then translated to $961,000 that they spent in ads. That's almost $1 million saved from the organization with 628 visitors. What I would love to know, if a couple of you do implement this, is I would love to see what does that 628,000 visitors translate into in funds raised. So keep an eye on your Google Analytics. Here's another example of an organization. This one was the Meet Vincent van Gogh Museum. That's a nonprofit organization. So they did and implemented Google ad grants, which then raised their traffic to their website. So Google ads drove 44% of all traffic to their collection website. So almost half of the website visitors and traction and awareness was because of implementing Google ads. So another cool thing, what you can do with Google ads, if you are an organization with open business hours, events, things like that coming up, this is a great opportunity for you, because then this is how you would, if you are a museum, this is how you would promote getting visitors to come to your museum. That's what Google ads is grant for. Inviting people to your place of your nonprofit, getting the awareness to your website or to your organization, getting people involved in your mission. Maybe you need volunteers. Do a Google ad for volunteers, especially if your event is, I would say, at least a minimum a month to 2 months out. This is a great opportunity for you. Okay, here's where the shit show starts. Before I really dive in, let me just double check with the group. Do we have any questions? Alex, do you see anybody with a hand up?
Sorry, looking now. Let me see. I don't think so.
Can I say something, Sharon?
Of course.
So I'm wowed because on the for-profit side, and a lot of you guys who run for-profit companies, so not only do you have to, in advertising, have to get all these assets and make sure that once you draw people to your ecosystem, that you have your back end in order, which of course is very expensive, right? Your websites, your freebies, your opt-ins, your email opt-in lists, et cetera. All of that is very, very expensive. But on top of that, as a for-profit business owner, we have to spend all of that money and design that strategy either by ourselves or with an expert, which oftentimes costs $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And that's before we start to spend money on ads. So Google eliminates that second part. And that's just incredible for nonprofits. So to be able to really focus on gathering your assets, making sure that your messaging is on point, making sure that once your audience clicks on the button and is welcome into your ecosystem, and then you take them on the journey. But I mean, it's incredible that you can put all of your efforts into that and making that great, because Google Ads, the grant, is doing the heavy lifting. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine, like, could you, a free advertising budget? This is a free advertising budget for nonprofit organizations.
$10,000 a month. And then when you were saying that
Yeah.
people are only on average using 300 a month, and I'm like, but if you double down, triple down, quadruple down, again, you know, designing your assets, your stories, whatever it is that you're deploying. So you'd have to put together a strategy. You'd have to build all of that. But again, wow, once you have that treasure chest of assets, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. Yeah. So remember earlier when I was talking about where this would be great to use. Okay. Well-defined campaign goals. Let me just touch on this one for a second, just to make sure this is clear. So nonprofits can create various types of campaigns to suit your goals. So there are 3 different kinds. This is your plug drop of the day. Plug number 1, search campaigns. These are text-based ads that appear on Google search engine when relevant keywords are searched. So if someone's searching, homeless veteran housing, that's one style of Google ad. Number 2, your plug, display campaigns, visual ads. This is like banners, images, videos. These are shown across Google's network and on their partner websites to engage a broader audience. Okay, this is your 3rd type of campaign, plug drop number 3. This one is my favorite, YouTube video campaigns. So not only once you implement this whole thing and you get Google for nonprofits, you'll also have YouTube for nonprofits. And that's where you can create your YouTube videos, promote, like if you have a public service announcement, things like that. So nonprofits can create and promote compelling video content on YouTube to raise awareness and engage audiences virtually. Those are your 3 main types of nonprofit campaigns that you can use with Google the Google Ad grants. Search campaigns, number 1, display campaigns, that's like your banners, images, videos, and then your YouTube video campaigns. All of that demonstrates everything about your organization. Okay. Let's get to the nasty. Okay, steps to apply for Google Ad grants. I'm telling you all, it is not fun, but it is worth it. So just be patient with yourself. Alex and Amber and I are going to provide you a guidebook, literally step by step on this, but your initial step by step is right here. Steps to apply for Google Ad grants. Before you can even get to the Google Ad grant component, there's some things you got to do first. You have to have an EIN. You have to have your IRS letter of determination. Those are 2 completely separate things. The EIN is that number that has the 2 digits dash the rest of it. Then your IRS letter of determination, that's the letter that says the IRS at the federal level has granted you tax exempt status. You must have that letter. Step number 3, this one sucks because a lot of people don't have this, nor are they ready for it yet. Step number 3, you must have a .org website. You have to have your domain. So I hope that this will get a couple of you who don't have this quite yet, gets your ass in gear, because you have to have this. Not only do you need this for Google Ad Grants, let me stop my screen so that my face is really big on your screen, because this is critical. Is my face big on everyone's screen? Because I hope so. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Brian. I saw your hand go up. So you must have a .org website in order to get Google Ad Grants. But even more important than that, you have to have a .org when you're applying to grants, when you're sharing about your nonprofit organization, and if you want to frickin' be successful and professional. Professionalism. You need to have that .org anyways, and .org versus .com. .org lets people know you are a nonprofit organization. Okay, Evelyn sharing her website right here in the chat, ladieslovingandliving.org. So Evelyn, since you already have that, you are already several steps ahead of the game because you have your .org website. Okay, did I make that part clear? I hope so, because that's critical component, and that's going to stop you guys and delay you in the process. Okay, so you have to have your .org. Step 4, here's where the real work begins. All organizations must be verified as a nonprofit by Google for Nonprofits validation partner. So it used to be back in the day that you had to register with TechSoup. You guys have heard me talk about them a lot for your nonprofit organization. Not the case anymore. It may be down the road, but you should have TechSoup anyway. Let me put that in the chat. It's a free account. TechSoup is great because you can get like QuickBooks for $75 for the year. You can get Adobe, you can get Canva, all sorts of really cool shit you can get from TechSoup. So make sure you have your TechSoup account. But then next, what you really need for the Google for Nonprofits before you can really even begin is you need to have your account with %. Oh, shoot. Patrick Ketchum with the plug drop of the day in the chat. If you're a veteran nonprofit, he has a point of contact that'll build you a website for free. You just pay for the annual hosting fee. Okay, Patrick. You've been sitting on that gem. I don't know how long for. Okay, Patrick, thank you for sharing that. So have your EIN, have your IRS letter of determination, have your .org domain. Step 4, you must register with Google for Nonprofits partner %. % allows you to get the Google Nonprofits profile set up. There's a lot of this shit that goes back and forth. It's very frustrating. This is what makes it very confusing for people. So, and we do help if all of this you're like what the F? Our team is here to help you through the process. It is a service that we offer to actually execute and implement Google Ad Grants and apply for it for you. So let us know. But we also want to provide you all of the steps so that you guys can do this yourself. Oh, Tatiana. Okay, for your question earlier, Tatiana asked, or she said something about the type of email address she used. So I don't think I put it on here. Maybe on the second side. Oh, nope. I may not have put it on here. So before you go and do this whole Google for Nonprofits validation, and we'll make sure that this is clear in the guidebook, you're going to need a Gmail email address just for the purposes of getting you started. And then once you have Google Nonprofits, you'll be able to do, like Tatiana, I'll just use you as an example. You'll be able to do Tatiana at futurewealthyminorities.org or info@futurewealthyminorities.org. So what you want to do now, so that you don't have to pay, because we're all about not paying, is just create futurewealthyminorities@gmail.com. And then you'll use that to get yourself verified with %, which will then get you verified and registered with Google for Nonprofits. And I'm going to pull these screens up so you guys can see them so that you have the visual also.
Oh, Sharon, so I do have that email already, futurewealthyminorities@gmail.com. However, when I first decided to make the account, I put the actual date that I was officially a nonprofit. So that meant that the account is less than 1 year old. And I said that was fine. However, I can't do anything on that account in terms business related or do Google for Nonprofits because the account is being monitored, quote unquote, by my personal account because now it's not even 1 year old.
Interesting. Okay, so what people might have to do then is just use your personal Gmail until you get everything switched over and approved for your nonprofit as Google for Nonprofits. That way you don't run into the issue that Tatiana did with the time frame.
Yeah, so they tell you to put, because I contacted Google specifically and they said next I could create another Gmail account. However, I wouldn't be able to have future wealthy minorities at Gmail. Even if I delete that email account, you can no longer use the same Gmail names, but
Right.
to use your actual birthday for the age of the Gmail account.
Right, right. Yep, exactly. So if you're going to create, that's because they're doing age verification. So if you have to create a Gmail account to get this process set up, if you don't already have info at your first name at or whatever at your organization.org, when you do create your organization name at gmail.com, just be sure to put your own personal birthday. That way you don't run into age verification issues. So then you'll go to %, which it's kind of like a TechSoup, and it's free to sign up with them. And through them, they'll verify you as a nonprofit organization. And then you'll go back to Google for Nonprofits and you'll select on Get Started. I'm going to take you guys right there right now so you can see it. So let me pull that up. So did everyone catch that you'll have to use your personal email address or create your organization name at gmail.com. Be sure your birthday matches your personal birthday so you don't run into age issues. Everybody catch that?
Yeah.
Okay. Kieran, if you're interested in starting a nonprofit, that's something that our firm specializes in. So just shoot us an email and I'll put it in the chat and we'd be happy to speak with you.
Okay. Actually, we're already established. I was just saying I have all three, and then we can talk offline.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. I put our email address in the chat anyways, just because I also, what state are you in?
California.
Are you in Los Angeles area?
Los Angeles, yes. Los Angeles,
Perfect. Beautiful.
California.
I've got some foster resources for you.
Okay,
Unless you
perfect.
already know him, which you might. Do you know, oh God, I just had a brain fart. It's the cold medicine. White guy, white beard, like his hair is all white, shaved beard and head.
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, I'm gonna remember it, but he's gonna be your go-to. He's the man for foster resources in LA, like the man.
All right.
Don't
Thank
let me
you,
forget.
Jen.
Yep. Okay, let me bring up these portals so you guys can see what they look like. Okay. Can you guys see my screen where it has the Google for Nonprofits? Okay, perfect. So once you go, and really the way I got here, you can just go Google for Nonprofits. It comes up. You click on the first one. We're looking at Google Workspace is what you guys are gonna do first. It'll bring this page up, Google for Nonprofits. What you're gonna do is you're gonna click on, if I can get Zoom out of my stinking way, you're gonna click on Get Started. But what's really cool, like check out all this cool stuff that you can do for Google for Nonprofits. Google Workspace is what we're gonna do. This is how you get your free Gmail stuff. Google for Workspace and your admin console and your analytics and your business info. You know, when you see businesses on Google website, when you go to like google.com and you're looking up a business, that's what all of this is. There's your Google ad grants, your YouTube for nonprofit, Google Earth and Maps, like all of this shit is for free. So you can check out like all the cool different stuff. This is where it talks about, you know, more collaboration, reaching more donors, engaging with YouTube videos. And then the Google Maps is so you can show where your nonprofit's impact is. This is so cool. So you're going to go to Google for Nonprofits. You're going to click on Get Started. And so this is where Tatiana was talking about the email stuff. You can use your personal email, or you can create a Gmail that's your nonprofit organization name at gmail.com. You'll hit continue. And then this is where you're going to start to get started. Okay. And all of you, for the most part, are 501c3 nonprofit organizations. So you will qualify. So here's where you'll see that stuff. So you'll click on next. You'll say where your organization is registered. So we'll say the United States, but you can, I mean, they've got all sorts of really amazing countries on here that you can pick from if you're someone that's from outside of the United States. You'll click on next. And here's where you need to have your organization EIN number ready. Okay. So before continuing, you must have the following. I also recommend before you really officially start this one, that you go to % and sign up here. So we'll provide this in the, hold on, let me pull the chat up. I'm going to put it in the chat, but we'll provide this in our Facebook group and in the recap email also. So you're going to go to %. % is the vendor and partner for Google for Nonprofits that verifies your nonprofit organization so you can get approved for Google for Nonprofits. So you'll go to sign up for %. You'll click on the cause portal. And this is where you're going to register your organization. So don't forget to change the state. So United States, let's put future wealthy minorities and see if that comes up. This is Tatiana's nonprofit organization. Look at that right there. Tatiana, does that match your EIN number?
It does.
Beautiful. We like this. So then you're going to click on claim nonprofit. Okay. Well, so clearly you need to get your % account first, and then you go through this. So just like TechSoup, which you guys need, I want you to have both, have TechSoup.org and have %. But to get your process going with the whole Google for Nonprofits, to get your Google Workspace, to get your free Gmail email address, to get your Google Ads, to get your Google for Nonprofit and the Google location stuff, get %. So this is where you'll sign up for here. So here's your % here. Already a %. No, you're not. So let me put the sign up in the chat box. Don't worry, guys. If we'll put this all in the recap email for tomorrow too. Also, let me do the plug drop of the day. If you're not in our private Facebook group, be sure to send me a request on Facebook and we'll add you to that group. On there, you'll be able to download the recordings from today. You'll be able to look at downloadables. That's where we'll put the guidebook for getting Google Ads. You can ask questions in there. You can engage with me, Amber and Alex, and some of our other team members. So if you don't have access to our private Facebook group yet, definitely reach out to us so you can get that. Easiest way, friend request us on Facebook and we'll add you to the group. Okay.
So quick question. So to sign up for %, if I'm using the Google for Nonprofits with my personal email because of what happened with the business, do I also sign up % with my personal email as well?
Yeah, if that's all you have for now, then yes. You can use your personal email, or you can, if you want, you're really just doing it just for the purposes of all this crap. And then as soon as you have Google for Nonprofits, you'll be able to create Tatiana or info@futurewealthyminorities.org. So it's really for the purposes of just to get you this and into this software. So you really even could create, if you wanted to keep it away from your personal email address, you could create just a second backup, Future Wealthy Minorities #2 or Future Wealthy Minorities Google@gmail.com, and just put it as your birthday. And you could use that to sign up for all of this too. Did that make sense?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So, and this is where you can also at Google for Nonprofits, you can look at the eligibility, the other resources. In the eligibility requirements, which is all of these links are in the PowerPoint presentation too. We'll put them all in the Facebook group and in the recap email. This is where it also talks about %. So if you forget the link or lose the link, it's in here as well. Oh yeah, Patrick, thanks for another plug. Man, Patrick, you're hired. Microsoft for Nonprofits is a great resource too, and you can get that for free. You can get Microsoft for Office for free through TechSoup also. So between TechSoup and %, you guys have access to like worlds of really, really, really fun stuff. So let me go back to the slide just to make sure we've got covered each of the to-dos, and then I'll go back to our list.
Dr. Sharon, can I ask you a question while you're going back?
Of course.
when you mentioned TechSoup and you said that we can get QuickBooks and all those things for little or nothing for the whole year, what if you already have a QuickBooks account or some of these things? Can we switch over and still utilize those services?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a headache. Do I
Oh,
recognize
no.
that voice? Is that Karen?
Yes,
think
this is me.
I recognize,
Sorry.
okay, I recognize her voice, Karen. Okay. Yes, you can. Here's the headache. It would be like recreating an entirely new QuickBooks Online account. So you're going to have your old QuickBooks and you'll have to migrate all of that to your new QuickBooks, and then you'll have to cancel your old QuickBooks. Here's the catch though. If you have employees, or if you're going to be hiring like within the next couple of months, the QuickBooks that you get through TechSoup does not have that feature. It's the most basic QuickBooks Online feature. And so you would need to switch anyways. You can get QuickBooks through our firm for a like 30% off discount per month for the first several months. So you could always do that. But you can absolutely get QuickBooks through TechSoup. Just know it'll be a totally separate account.
So it'll probably be their initial one for like $30 a month.
Yeah, it is.
They have something like $12 or $30 a month. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Exactly.
And
so just look at your operations, and you can always email Amber and I offline, and we can always kind of go through what might be the best option for you and help you set that up. But if you've already got it and it's working for you, I'd probably recommend just sticking with it. But if you do want to switch to the other option that's just $75, then just know they'll need to be doing some migrating, and QuickBooks will help you with that.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. So any other questions?
There's a question in the chat about, Christy says she has a .com established for 5 years. Should we change it to an org?
Yes, absolutely. You'll have to change it to a .org. And what you can do so that you don't have to recreate your whole entire website, go purchase your .org domain, and whoever your web developer is, or if you need help with that, we have a web developer on our team. They can make it so if people go to the .com or the .org, it's the exact same thing. They're just like linked to each other. But absolutely get the .org. Great question, Christy. Thank you, Amber. Oh, if we come across resources for seniors and that kind of support, we'll send that your way. One really cool website for finding resources, you guys, is called findhelp.org. I'll put it in the chat. Findhelp.org. Literally, you can find all sorts of cool help on there. Not always, like donors and stuff like that, but really cool resources in every single state. So I use this. So I'm physically located in California, but we have clients across the entire US and global. I use Find Help to establish more resources in other states. Really good website. Okay. So let's just kind of go over this real quick one more time. These are the steps, and then I'm going to open it for questions. So make sure, one, your nonprofit has to be in compliance. I should have put that as a step on here. Your nonprofit needs to be in compliance with your state and with the IRS. So make sure you've been filing your taxes and your annual returns, depending on what your state is. And if you're in California, your Office of Attorney General renewal and your state taxes. If you're in Florida, it's an annual return that you have to do through Sunbiz. Other states are all different. And then make sure you're filing your taxes with the IRS. 990N, 990, depending on what your gross receipts is. We'll do a whole training on that one day. So make sure your nonprofit is in compliance. Make sure you have your EIN number ready. Make sure you have a copy of your IRS letter of determination. You will have to upload that in order to get verified. So to get verified, you'll go to %. And that's how you're going to get verified. I don't think I can click. Oh, look at that. I can click on it right from there from the PowerPoint. So when you guys get a copy of the PowerPoint, you'll be able to click right on there and handle it. So you're going to go to % and you're going to go to their cause portal and you're going to register. So be sure if you don't have an account yet, find your nonprofit and sign up here. Okay. So once, and this is not an immediate process. Let me make my face big again. This is not an immediate process. The verifications can take several days up to a week or two. It just depends on which platform it is. And it depends on how you're applying and do you have the proper documentation to verify your nonprofit organization. So like, for example, TechSoup can be really slow, percent might be a little bit faster. So make sure you have your EIN and your IRS letter of determination ready to get your nonprofit verified. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. So once you're verified with percent, which remember, this isn't going to all happen in one day. This is going to happen over the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks. So it's a process you'll want to start now. So you'll make sure you'll get verified with percent, and the details of that are on the next slide. And then you'll go back to Google for Nonprofits and you'll go back and start that process. Once you get Google for Nonprofits, then you will be able to create your most beautiful professional email address, info@yourorganization.org, or your first name at your nonprofit organization.org. And you'll look more professional, a legitimate business. Donors will respect you more. Additionally, other founders, partners, grant applications, they like to see professional email addresses. So good for that. So you'll be able to get your email address. Then you'll be able to get your whole Google profile set up. You'll be able to get Google ad grants, your YouTube, your Google Maps, and take advantage of some of the other analytics within your Google admin console. I should have taken, I'll take a screenshot and I'll put it in the Facebook group of what the Google admin console looks like. It's really cool. That's where you'll create all of your staff email addresses. That's where you'll look at all your Google analytics. Really cool to have. So key takeaways from today, and I know we rushed through that, and once you start to dive into it, then you'll see, and it's just kind of a slow process you have to work for. So remember, on average, most nonprofits use approximately $300 per month, but Google is giving you free advertising $10,000 per month. I would use that shit. I love some free money. Be sure once you have your whole Google for Nonprofits profile that you sign up for Google admin analytics, and that's in your admin console. So you guys know when you're logged into Gmail, and up in the top corner, it has the, let me see if I can show it. In your Gmail, when you're logged in, oh, nope, I'm not logged into my Gmail, so I can't show you. Up in that top right corner where you would pick like your Google Drive and like the other options, there's a blue thing in there, and it looks like this kind of roundy triangle-ish thingy. That's your Google admin console. You'll click on that, and that's where you can create more email addresses. That's where you will start to create all the other resources in there. Christy, it is not difficult to change your .com to a .org. It would just be a matter of your website hosting and domain. If I were you, I would keep both. I would keep your .com and then just add in your .org and just have them linked. And a web developer can do that for you. And if that's something that you need assistance with, just shoot us an email. In fact, I'll put that slide up so that way you guys can have that contact information, and then I'll open this all for questions.
Sharon, I have a quick question. So what do you think, and maybe the forum can answer this too. So assuming you get through the whole process and you get your ad spend, what's holding you back from deploying it? Or what's holding back?
What's holding you back? Oh God, good question. What's going to hold you back is if you don't know your mission, and if you don't know your community that you're serving, and if you don't know your data. Ooh, God, that's the shit that makes me like tingle. So you need to have a compelling story. You need to have a compelling narrative. You need to know what you're asking for. You need to know what you're promoting. Think about if you were on, sorry guys, so attractive. Think about if you guys were on Google and you're searching for, support for Tatiana. I'm going to pick on you. I'm a minority and I want support for something. So I type in support for minorities. And Tatiana has an ad campaign that pops up that's for future wealthy minorities. And maybe it's a photo of a bullet item list of resources for minorities. I'm so going to click on that. Now, if it was just a picture of a couple of people, I'm going to be like, that's cool. It's a picture of a couple of minorities. Like, I don't know what she's offering. So I'm not even going to click on it, and I'm going to move past it. That's the difference. Does that answer your question, Amber?
It does. And then just to, I guess, reiterate the point why it's so important. Not only do you need it for this, but you also need it when you apply for other grants, and you also need to put it on your 990 at some point. Right?
Yep, absolutely. So in order to be ready for Google Ad Grants, maybe you have a YouTube video that's your PSA, which is a public service announcement. It's like a maybe 2 or 3 minute video that talks about who you are as an organization. Maybe you've got a couple of graphics that you've designed on some things that you're trying to promote, or an event you have coming up, or you need volunteers, or you're trying to fundraise for an X amount of dollars to house 10 veterans. That's the kind of stuff that's going to be perfect for these ads. And then be sure you're watching them through the analytics so that you know how they're performing. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions. We will be putting the PowerPoint, the recording of today's video in our private Facebook group. In fact, right now, let me put a link to the private Facebook group in the chat. We will also send a recap email out so that you guys can watch the video that way. For those of you that may be multitasking right now or driving, we'll have all of that there for you. Now, as you've got a couple of minutes here, we're open for questions. Ask away.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, thanks for this. This is wonderful information. I signed up, so I'm Cherie with the Global Food and Drink Initiative. That's what GFDI stands for. And I signed up for the whole Google. I went through with everything, and I didn't seem to get the amount that I have. It was just really confusing. So I don't really know how much I have. And then I signed up to have students help me, and I ended up getting a group of students out of Spain, but it was very different because they didn't really understand sort of the nuances of what we do. So the ads, it was just, I don't know, I need to start over. But, you know, again, it wasn't really clear that I have the 10,000 a month. How do I use it? So
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
stuck.
This is really good. I'm glad you asked this question. Cherie?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So the way it works is you aren't given $10,000 and then you go spend it. So what you do is you have the Google for Nonprofits account. And when you post the ads and people click through and it starts to charge, that's when it'll start to take away from that $10,000. So it's not like they
Okay.
cut you a check for 10K.
Right. Okay. So okay, that makes sense. Okay. And yeah, and again, I just need to figure out how to activate the ad. So that's my problem. So I just sort of need to get in there and figure it out.
Reach out to us and
Okay.
we'd be more than, in fact, oh my God, how could I forget today's winner? Miss Cherie Williams, would you like to be today's winner, and we'll help you implement Google Ads and take advantage of that 10,000?
Oh, okay, sure. I look a mess, so I'm not coming on camera, but
that's okay.
But
That's
thank you.
okay.
That's awesome.
So what we'll do, and we'll use you, and then maybe, in a couple of months, we can come back and we'll do a part 2, and we'll show everybody the impact of the Google Ad Grants on a nonprofit organization. So, and I think yours will be such a cool one to work with and create. So we'll tell you kind of what your to-dos are, and then we'll kind of help put it together. So you'll be working with me, Amber, Alex, and one of our other team members, Jay. All 4 of us will be helping you actually execute and implement, because it's not just about getting the Google for Nonprofits account. Then it's actually like getting the Google ads and actually getting that going. And that's super freaking technical. And that's the part that makes people really want to cry.
Absolutely. Thank you. I love this.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
do me a
Made my day.
favor. Do me a favor and reach out to us. If you, the email address was in the chat box.
Okay.
Shoot us an email and we'll get you started. If not this week, we'll get you started early next week.
Absolutely. I'll have it coming your way. Thank you so much.
No problem. And then another question that was sent to me was just reminding folks what the purpose of TechSoup is. So there's two online softwares that you guys need to sign up for. One is TechSoup.org. TechSoup, both of these are free accounts, TechSoup and Percent. TechSoup allows you to get things like QuickBooks Online, Canva, Adobe, all sorts of really cool technology stuff, either for free or super discounted. And then percent, sorry guys, percent verifies your nonprofit organization in order for you guys to get Google for nonprofits. So that's what those are for. So I hope that answered the question I received on that one. And then, yeah, Larry, there are multiple methods to creating awareness for the organization, and Google Ads is a lot similar to Facebook ads and creating that type of audience. It's just that Google gives nonprofits a budget up to $10,000 to spend. So that's what's really cool for that. Evelyn, I know you have a question. Go ahead. Oop, shoot, I muted you. That was my fault.
Again, thank you. You guys know how excited I am to learn, and this was awesome. I can't locate myself on the wherever I just needed to be.
Was it percent?
Percent, yes.
Well, let's
And
see.
so it's giving me some options to like basically send in the request. My question is, I'm doing some work on the website and I'm adding the 3 programs that we will be implementing. Is that important to do like, is that a piece? Does my website need to be solid
No.
before I start asking people to
Definitely not.
Okay.
I mean, you want it looking pretty good. And then Darren's from Veteran Social Services says the percent sign up button is not working. So go to the link that's for Google Grants for Nonprofits. I'm going to put that link again in the chat. That's the Get Started. Okay, let me put this in the chat again. And you can sign up through this way. It's just slow, so don't expect immediate approvals and verifications. Larry, Percent is another entity that verifies nonprofit organizations that's in partnership with Google. And according to Google for Nonprofits, they require that you're verified as a nonprofit through Percent. So go through Google for Nonprofits, and if you forget the website, you can just Google for Nonprofits, and it'll pop up, click on Get Started. That'll start you through that whole entire process. So start there. Oh, Larry, fantastic. Then you're good to go. You don't need Percent. If you already have Google for Nonprofits, you're already verified. So from there, you'll just click on going through the Google Ads campaign process, and we'll have a guidebook for that. Okay, any other questions? It is 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Your hour is done. I know that was hellacious. Good job, you guys. This is how you take advantage of Google Ad Grants, $10,000 per month in free advertising. We will do a part 2 because that was intense. So reach out to us if you have questions. Thank you so much for joining Chamber Nation and the shit show today. Let us know what questions you have. We'll be on here for a couple more minutes.